What do you do when you've done it all? When you've seen dynasties rise and fall, seen friendships end and alliances begin, seen peasants become king and back to peasants again? When you need a new venue, but people don't think you've got more in you? Well, if you're Problematic Posse Wrestling, you go back to the proving grounds. Welcome back to yet another Posse Slam recap. I am your host, the Shady Champ, CEO of Shady News, where the truth is always shady. Lots of developments went down over this particular Posse Slam, so if you need a quick recap of the highlights, don't worry. This is what our sponsors pay me for.
I'm doing the shit, mama. I'm doing the shit big. I just caught the new verse. A little over $250,000. He called me like 260. I eat with the 5 stars. That perk got a nigga high. Right now I'm a fly star. You can get power with the 12 game.
It's time for championships. Last Posse Slam we had bragging rights at stake, but at this Posse Slam, some people's waists might be leaving a little colder than how they came in. After seeing the Bunny become world champion and defeat the best male wrestler in PPW, for a while the question was if any rookie would have as strong a debut afterwards in Blitz, let alone PPW. Enter Tulips, whose dominant moveset and explosive finishers made the women in them's roster of Blitz fear when her entrance played. In fact, the only wrestler she lost to in singles competition was none other than Blitz Women in Them's champion Ronda Rousey, and even then, instead of spiraling into a losing streak like the Bunny did, Tulips doubled down and fought to become the #1 contender for Ronda this Posse Slam. We saw an incredible back and forth between the two wrestlers as both had to prove themselves in the ring, whether it be as a dominant rookie or as a WWE plant. But when it came down to the wire, with both competitors' tanks on E, Ronda, running on fumes, was able to take the pin over Tulips, retaining her championship. It has been a terrible season for Tempest. From being exposed for not carrying his weight in TNT, to getting his finger bitten off at the tag team title match by Jesse Bananas, he had a rough month a couple months ago. Then, when he won Money in the Bank with the intention to redeem it on the tag team titles again, he immediately found out his tag partner T-Ho wanted nothing to do with him, instead joining a faction known as the Righteous. But perhaps this was a premature response, as Tempest forged himself into a better wrestler after that rejection, becoming #1 contender to the Warzone Intercontinental Championship without using the Money in the Bank, and rebranding himself as DPH. His opponent? The mic is right. The start of DPH's downfall and the leader of the aforementioned Righteous. The stage was set for DPH to get the redemption he so desperately needed after all the trials and tribulations that he had gone through. But Mike showed that a rebrand by any other name is still one that he was right about, as Mike shut down DPH's momentum, sending him away without an Intercontinental belt by his waist. After the Groovy One lost to the Shady One and his truth was exposed as fraudulent, it seemed like the Groovy Truth would close its doors for good. That is, until Grant did some extreme recruiting and found Griccolo, a wrestler that in his debut would defeat Pretty Boy JG, earning him a spot and facing off against Crazy Cord for the Blitz United States Championship. Now, Cord, powerhouse that he is, took Griccolo about as seriously as the audience, which is to say, not at all. But this turned out to be his undoing, for though Cord didn't mind showing off his strength as per usual, Griccolo, with his eyes on the prize, defeated Cord with an incredible spinning back fist, becoming a rookie with the Blitz United States Championship. This win was the momentum needed for the Groovy General's legitimacy, and with the Groovy One set to take on JG for the Blitz World title, this match set up the possibility for a Groovy General sweep in Blitz. Now, before we talk about that particular fight, Shady News would be remiss if we didn't tell you what else was at stake with these remaining 3 matches. There are 3 types of titles in the PPW shows. There are the tag team belts, there's the secondary belt, known by numerous names throughout the seasons, and then there's the world title. Now, so far, nobody in the PPW roster has managed to capture all 3, but tonight, this could all change. To become PPW's first Triple Crown wrestler, either the Groovy One would have to win the Blitz World title, Warlock Noah would need to catch the tag belts, or Jacob J would have to take on the Warzone World title. Now, becoming first would absolutely stamp that wrestler in Problematic Posse Wrestling history, so let's see who gets that honor. So with the momentum of his disciple Gricolo winning the United States Championship and the Triple Crown status lying in wait, the Groovy One had all the motivation he needed to take on Pretty Boy JG, who became champion again on an episode of Blitz after defeating the Bunny in an Iron Man match. Pretty Boy JG showed off in his usual way, leading to the Groovy One gaining the upper hand like so many fights we'd seen before in PPW. But unlike those other matches, the Groovy One truly could not keep up with JG's rhythm, and Pretty Boy JG denied the Groovy Truth the chance to run Blitz and denied Grant the Triple Crown label. An ugly outcome for Grant indeed. The Groovy One may have lost, but he wasn't the only Triple Crown candidate with momentum leading into his title match. Warlock Noah vowed to return to his Season 1 roots as he left the Rose Rangers and reformed the Super PAC with Donald Trump and new member / tag partner Team Money Tez. But the other thing Season 1 Noah was known for was having a belt around his waist, with the tag belt intended to be the belt this season. Unfortunately, the only way to get this tag belt would be through the Kingsman tag team, aka Jesse Bananas and Crazy Cord, who in particular was not looking to lose 2 belts in one Posse Slam. And as it turned out, Cord with something to prove and something to lose would also make for a very, very dangerous opponent, manhandling Noah and Tez for the majority of the match. But when Cord needed to switch to Jesse Bananas, Tez mustered up enough MAGA moxie to put Jesse away, with Cord nowhere in sight for the rescue, making the Super PAC the tag champions and making Noah PPW's first Triple Crown wrestler. And though Noah gets to claim the title first, can lightning strike twice in one Posse Slam? Jacob J sure hopes so, as he faces off against the most dominant men's champion, the god of Warzone himself, Delonye West. And while it was technically a back and forth, Delonye's attack looked to hit much harder as... Wait. What's going?
Delonye's asking him.
Is that
he can't never get his one-on-one like he wants.
Bring some blades on!
That's right, folks. After losing to the Mic Is Right, Tempest, Mr. Money in the Bank himself, decided he was going to try and leave Posse Slam with something, as he cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to turn this one-on-one match into a triple threat. And it would prove to be a bad day to be a Cerberus member, as Delonye was treated as the biggest threat in the room, and rightfully so, as Delonye would still be on the winning side of this triple threat. But as the big dog was beginning to have his day, Tempest, remembering how far he had come and how much he had lost, took out Delonye and caught Jacob J in the eye of the storm for the 3 count. Now, to put all of this in perspective, Tempest was once called the dud of TNT. He was called the worst wrestler of Season 2, and if you look at the Posse Slam 11 recap, you'll see he was even called Player 2. But after tonight, we can only call him champion. And as we prepare to weather the storm that is his reign, we thank you for watching. We'd also like to remind you to hit that like and subscribe button. And once again, this has been Shady News, where the truth is often shady.